A big complaint people give me on this channel is how I feature so many weapon mods. For better or for worse, those are the most abundant mod type in Fallout 4 modding. Armor mods come in at a very close second, but those two mods together make up, I would say, about 60 to 70% of the mods released day to day. Fortunately for us, there are some mods though that are a lot bigger than this. Some mods that are aiming to add in a ton of weapons, a ton of armors, but even a bit more. In today's video, I want to show you 4 of those mods. These are big, massive mods aiming to add in a ton of new world space into Fallout 4. And even a lot of them adding in a ton of new features and functionality also. If you guys do enjoy the stuff I'm showing you, you could support these mods either through Patreon, maybe subscribing to their YouTube channel. I'll have everything linked down below, and I really encourage you to check it out. A lot of these mod authors are working for free or doing this while they have a full-time job in their free time, and showing them support, whether it be monetary or through your continued interest, I know does mean a lot to them. So starting things off, we have probably the newest of the projects on this list, and that's going to be Fallout Miami. It's aiming to add in, as you probably guessed, Miami as a playable world space into Fallout 4. I assume there'll be some way you travel to that location, but also could be a kind of standalone game similar to what some other mods for Skyrim have done in the past. Again, that's not entirely clear yet. Regardless, the real premier aspect about this mod so far at least is the world space. They have done a ton of great work crafting this world, creating this city from the ground up. I've said this a number of times now as I've covered it in different episodes of my upcoming mod series, but it really does look beautiful and something that I personally would just love to explore and get to the intricacies of. But even further, the story here is actually of 3 different factions. The first of which are the Nuclear Patriots. These are kind of a pseudo biker gang that are actually pretty friendly and good. Although appearing tough and powerful, their morals are pretty high. They're extremely against slavery and stealing and things like that. It's actually a pretty interesting dynamic, taking something that is stereotypically bad or kind of evil in most instances and making them be quote unquote the good guys. Then you have the Dreamers. These are heavy drug users that, well, are trying to escape the reality. They want to live in those dreams on their high, because who wants to live in a post-apocalyptic waste? At the same time, they don't actually use weapons, and all of them wear masks to kind of hide from the reality they find themselves in, waiting for their next high to really escape it to what I would call their real world. Think of them as kind of a psychotic drug user type, similar to the Children of Adam in Fallout 4. And then finally, what I think is going to be the most interesting of the groups are the Cubanos. After a bunch of Cubans moved to Miami before the bombs dropped, they set up a ton of industries and frankly made a lot of money. Then the bombs did drop, and of course a lot of their influence was diminished, but regardless, now they control a lot of the drug trade and distribution in Miami, and basically they're a gang of gangsters, which sounds really cool. That's something that has only been lightly touched in a lot of the different Fallouts. Typically they go for more of a paramilitary feel like the NCR, the Gunners, but having a gang of gangsters, a mafioso type, and between this and the landscape, it's getting me extremely hyped and excited for this mod. So we do have Fallout 4, the Capital Wasteland project. What it is aiming to do is add in some components of Fallout 3 back into Fallout 4. It really is fairly self-explanatory. It's more or less trying to take a lot of the different things, that being world spaces, weapons, armors, NPCs, recreate them, reimagine them, and put them in the advanced engine that we do find ourselves with today. Fallout 3 is a pretty old game, and it's something a lot of people love and hold very dear to their heart. This is a massive undertaking that has already completed a ton. They have images of a ton of the different locations over the wasteland that me and you have experienced countless times in the past, and now we're going to get to reimagine them with better graphics, more details, and even further, they've actually been releasing some of the smaller components of their mod as downloadable content. Things like the Chinese stealth suit, the Hellfire XO3 power armor. These are things built for this larger mod that we do have right now as just aspects of Fallout 4, but one day it seems like they're going to be usable back in their original form. The exact scope and sites of this aren't entirely clear. They haven't really said they want to re-implement Fallout 3 in its entirety, but some of the major aspects are already being completed. At the end of the day, even if we only get to go back to Megaton and some of the surrounding areas, I would still be extremely hyped. They've done a ton of work and progress thus far, and it's something to definitely be excited for. Building off the previous, we also have Fallout 4 New Vegas. Does the fact that 2 major mods being done for Fallout 4 are simply recreations of previous Fallouts say anything about this game? Maybe, but this mod actually had the most rocky kind of continuation. There was a ton of progress done, but then some internal struggles led to a splitting of the community and people working on this. A lot of people assumed this was dead. They actually think right now it's dead. Well, it's not. I'm actually in their Discord, and consistent progress has been being made, and they always have new things going on and that they are working on. Regardless, again, as you can imagine, this is actually aiming to add in all of Fallout New Vegas into Fallout 4. At least that was their original scope. Again, after some of the changes, this may have been modified in some way. We have a ton of details about some of this, as it's had a fairly long life cycle compared to some of these other mods. Entire world spaces have been implemented here. Some of the videos released show that really iconic Mojave Waste that we've experienced in the past, as well as other images showing us armors and weapons that will ship with the final mod. This is one that I know a lot of you guys are going to be excited for, simply because Fallout New Vegas is a lot of our favorite Fallouts. Many people look at this as the premier release in this franchise and just really want more of it. So last but certainly not least, we do have Fallout Cascadia. This is aiming to add in Seattle as a new and playable world space, and there you're going to experience a ton of different things. A lot of the lore and backstory that you will have here haven't really been released. Some things we do know is there is going to be the NCR. They did release their NCR armors, but even further, this is without a doubt the largest undertaking out of all of these mods, and I really think this has the most work being done. Their team has only grown, they have a really clear direction, and the updates they release always are packed full of new and exciting content. Even further, they're actually adding in new aspects to the game. They're bringing back the skill system. A lot of those things that were really prominent in previous Fallouts that were just seemingly missing in Fallout 4 are going to be brought back through this mod with some even further additions. This one's kind of hard to talk about because all we really have right now are the materialistic things like the armors, the guns, knowing that skills are going to make a return, but there is a whole really deep and expansive backstory and lore that I know they're working on. They just have purposely not shared the details of it. I imagine this is so when we actually experience the mod, we're kind of surprised and then we're taking it in as a totally new experience in a Fallout universe. All four of the mods I have shown you today are extremely high quality. There's a few others out there that just don't have quite as much progress made. I want to be clear, that's not me taking a shot at those mods. They're just younger in the development cycle and aren't quite ready for a big presentation like this. Again, you can find links to everything I did talk about and show you down below. I really do encourage you guys to check those out, look at some of these mods and the work being done by these mod authors. As always, again, I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys all next time. Later.